I'm happy to see you. Welcome to the stream. Happy Thursday night. For those of you who haven't been here before, this is the WagWorksGA channel. I am Geoff. You can call me that or Wags. And that's Geoff with a G, and that's important because that's the G in WagWorksGA. The A is my wife, Ashley. We're a husband-wife author-illustrator team, and we work on kids comics. So that's we're working on a couple of graphic novels. We're going through the submission process. We do short form comics for kids, some educational. We do some just slice of life comics for ourselves. You'll also see me here doing fan art sometimes and all sorts of art stuff. Janos, hey, how's it going? Good to see you. Good to see you. How's it going for you tonight? But anyway, that's the deal with me and what you're gonna see here. I'm happy you're joining us tonight. I hope your night's going well, everybody. Apparently, it's you know, technical April Fools on myself this week so far. That's always good times. Okay, but we're here. I'm here, and we're getting started. Gonna read the Janos intro here. Welcome to my spectacular grand viewers to the wonderful, fun, and never-ending endeavor for pure, absolute, sheer thrill. That is the Waggalakwa stream. I need friends. What do you mean? I mean you're here. You're amongst friends, and also you know. I'm sure you've got friends. You're always a delight to have a conversation with. Sorry, I got distracted for a second. Wagalicious. I think I don't know. I had a typo, and by typo I mean my brain imploded. That will cause typos. I don't know. I kind of like Wagaliqua. I don't actually know any French. So it's that's probably not accurate pronunciation, but you know. Cool. Yeah. So we're here. We're getting things started. I, in my fun times troubleshooting technical issues, did not grab my Pokemon cards for warm-up, so I am gonna go do that real quick. But Janice, I see you got your coffee at 2 today instead of 9 or 11, and now you have too much energy and your brain is all over the place. That can be tricky later in the day, but you know, we'll just have a chill time, and maybe that'll help. I'm gonna grab those cards, and I will be right back. Okay, or Ashley will grab them. Thank you. Oh goodness, and the music is buffering. It is. It is an April Fool's night here on the technical side, apparently. How is the WAG team doing? We're doing good. We're doing good. Thank you. It's yeah, there's lots going on, that's for sure. Keeping real busy, but overall can't complain. Maybe only about you know, technical challenges tonight. Oh boy. Sorry, yeah, I'm just looking through the cards live right here. That's what I'm doing. We have this is ye old box of Pokemon cards that we got going. Let me just grab a few. I had some organized at the top, and then I completely got it shuffled up. You'll do, you'll do, you'll do, you'll do. Okay, good deal. You had your Spotify DJ at work play music, and you're supposed to music you were supposed to feel and that he resonated with, and then proceeded to play yodeling as I started to question my life choices. Before he followed up with April Fools, and then I became depressed. I mean, yodeling is a heritage art form, right? 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 April Fools is, it's one of those things like when I was in college, I was super excited to like prank my lab mates and stuff in grad school. But subsequently, I more or less stopped caring about it. And but now the kids, boy, do they know about April Fool's Day, and they get super alarmingly excited for it. we've had to make some rules. Okay, so you know what? It seems like maybe music is just gonna be a little bit spotty tonight. That's like, I was so proud of myself. I restarted the router. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be prepared. I've got everything ready to go ahead of time. And boy, everything just kind of imploded 10 minutes before stream. The oh, so everything's lagging. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Are we back by any chance? Is it less laggy? Music isn't the only problem. All right, you know what? We're gonna try this. We're gonna give it a shot, and if it just goes hilariously off the rails, we'll figure it out. Yeah, because as I mentioned, hey, Score Flytrap, good to see you here tonight. How you doing? Oh no, we're lagging super bad again, huh? Okay. I'm gonna try cutting the music, save a little bandwidth on that. See if we can catch up. Okay, 30 seconds. All right, so type something, and I'll say it as soon as I see it, and that'll give us a good estimate of how far lagging we are tonight. Yeah, roughly 30 seconds, which is still awful. Yeah, it is. Okay. Well, hey, Scorefly, you've caught us on a fun technical issues night, but we're gonna try to do some art still. So I'm just gonna go ahead and push on through. My replies may be a little bit lagged. I apologize for that, but I'm still glad you're here, and if you want to chill, we're happy to have you. So I'm just gonna jump into warm up right now. It's weird doing this without the music, and in fact, I don't even need the headphones because what can I even hear? So this is a rare Geoff ears stream. I don't know if that's what you're waiting for, but that's what we got. Let me time it real quick. There were a few seconds before I read that one. Or we could just do it like this. So if I type in, that's right, 26 seconds. Cool. All right, you know what? Let's just jump into art. We're gonna deal with it. I don't really know another way other than trying to reboot this whole situation. Oh, we're caught up? All right, great. That's exciting. Welcome back to the current time. I am gonna skip the music tonight just because even though it's weird having a no music stream, to me, we're gonna do it, and that's cool because we're here for the art. So I'm gonna hop over to Clip Studio Paint. We're just gonna see how all this goes. Why didn't they warn us about the War of Future Man? I mean, it's kind of always happening, right? So yeah, I do my warm. I draw Pokemon to get started. It's just a sketch, so I'm not going to be finishing anything on that tonight. But what I do is I pick one of these 5 or 6 Pokemon cards that I pulled. I randomly pick it, and that's my warm-up Pokemon for tonight. We do just a 5-minute fast little warm-up. And tonight we're going to do Galarian Meowth. That's who we got. So, going to pull up a reference image if my internet will let me. It seems like it will. All right, that's great. Okay, so there you go. Always label your layers. Yeah, apparently not Scorefly. Is it okay if I call you Scorefly? Would you prefer something else, by the way? Please let me know. All right, let me get my timer up. You are free and encouraged to draw along here, as always, because art is fun. Oh boy. All right. Call Scorefly. Now. Check with Scorefly first. I know it's fly trap. That's the words that usually go together, but yeah, when the Windows timer app is just like taking a minute to come up, that doesn't seem real great. Something's going on. Okay. And it crashed. Well, you know what? We're just gonna eyeball it. I'm gonna say 5 minutes starts now. Let's start drawing. Let's not let anything get in our way. Let's just have a good time with it. I'm gonna clear out some of this back just for fun. Yeah. I like to sketch in a non-black color for a multitude of reasons, but right now I'm just gonna say because I like it. You don't care if people call you? Okay, cool. So you wouldn't forcefully. Is it okay if I forcefully rename you to Bob? Yeah, without you actually having a say, even though if you're not okay with it, I'm gonna do it. Janos, come on now. Love you, Bob. You're the best. Oh my goodness. All right, so let's just go. Let's just go on the art, huh? This is kind of big, furry blob situation going on here for the head and upper torso, which is fascinating. This is the sketch layer, by the way. I tend to work in pretty normal for at least for comics. Process of doing sketches, then pencils, which are just starting to pick out your favorite lines, tighten things up, and then eventually you finish out with your final inks, and then you can do colors and all that. Being that I'm doing a warm-up, I'm unlikely to get anywhere near final. This is more likely going to be either just the sketch phase or pencils. If I get far-ish in the 5 minutes, we're a couple minutes in already. I do like to add a constraint when I do the Pokemon warm-up sketch of making them sleeping, because it's cute and it gives me a quick focus to get going. You have this character you like, but you kind of made their shirt design too complicated, so I had to make an alternate design for the animating part. Okay, so you do animation. That's awesome. Yeah, similarly, trying to do work for graphic novels, realizing very quickly how, you can't make too complicated of a design, or your life is going to be real hard drawing that character hundreds of times. Kind of like a surly sleeping face. I feel like that works for this Pokemon. Alright, so just a time check. We're at about 10:24 Eastern time. We started about 10:21, so we got a couple more minutes yet on our sketching. So the arm's going to come around in front. So maybe this floof goes over in front here. Using the ginormous brush size again, just to keep myself from getting tempted to go too into detail with anything. Just cleaning up a little bit of this to remind myself what the visual hierarchy is here. So, Scorefly, what, oh, their eyes were complicated because they had an eye injury too. So what kind of character is it, or what kind of story are you animating? About a minute left, by the way, before we finish this up. So we got one leg in here. I feel like the leg would probably be back more this way. There's some kind of curly tail going on here. So probably bring that around like this. Something like that. Okay, it's a little bit rough sketch, but that is what sketch layers are indeed for. Scooch this over a little bit. I got kind of to the right on the page. They also drew on my reference layer. Seems right. Seems right for tonight, but that's pretty easily fixed. Can just drop it down here. There we go. Yes. Yes, okay. Thought I cut and pasted that, but I did not. Cool, cool, cool. There we are. That's what I was going for. Better. Well, it's his older brother that was a mechanic that made a mistake and got kind of an electrical accident. Basically, his story is about his character Neil, who's overworked. There's more than that, but that's just the basics. Well, very cool. How long have you been doing animation? Is it like, do you do it for a job? Is it like more of a hobby thing? I love animation. I think it's super cool. I wish I had studied it. I play around here and there with like Clip Studio's tools, but I'm far from a pro at it. That's for sure. All right, so yeah, we're about 10:27 Eastern. We'll call that 5 minutes. Since the timer app decided it doesn't want to work tonight. That's not a great sign. But hey, I'm happy with this sketch. That's pretty cool. And we can, were I to decide to continue on with this, I'm pretty happy with the start. I feel like there's some personality to it that I could carry forward as I work subsequent layers. You do it as a hobby, mainly for multi-animated projects. That's really cool, though. How long have you been doing it? Gonna lurk. Cool. Well, have a good lurk, Janos. Feel free to pop in if you, feel like chatting. But gonna lurk for a quick, cool little minute. Gonna, Are you just kind of trailing off into the background? Alright. Study these laws of motion you've heard so much about. Yes. Yes. Our physics education streams, of course. Yeah, have a good lurk. You can pop in whenever you feel like it. And by that I mean shower evil laugh noises or something. 2018? Oh, so you've been doing it for a good while. That's awesome. Okay, so I'm happy with this. Let's go ahead and hop into continuing on this comic for tonight. Or this, I haven't given up on this comic yet. Yeah, so this is, we tend to divvy up our projects into, the whole of Core Toons is for kindergarten through about 5th or 6th grade. We kind of break those ages up into what we call early worms, which is kindergarten through 2nd grade. And then we have the big apples, which is 2nd grade through 5th grade. This is one of our ones for the younger group, the early worms. So we actually have kind of worked to make this wordless or mostly wordless. Yeah, and we've been pretty happy. We've done, I think, 4 other ones. So this is the 5th one. So Ashley and I decided we were going to change this one up slightly. So what you're seeing is I did the pencils, and I've started my line work for this comic after going through sketch and pencils and all of that. And I've gone over it with Ashley. She writes, and I sketch out, and then finalize all the art. And after.
How does one write a wordless comic? Sounds like
A picture really is. A picture really is worth 1,000 words, though. I've got to say, once you start looking at scripts for comics, graphic novels, you have to describe what the artist is going to draw at some point. So, if you didn't hear Ashley back there saying, "How does one write a wordless comic?" Do you have any advice about writing a wordless comic?
I really don't write it. I draw it with my chicken scratch.
So then are we in fact an artist team? What she said, again, I'm not sure what the range on the mic is.
Draw arrows with some words saying what these sketches represent.
Okay. What Ashley is saying is oftentimes for stuff like this, she won't, necessarily write out a full script for a brief little wordless 4-panel comic. She will sketch it and then, write in little arrows and descriptions of what she's getting at with things if she doesn't feel like it's clear. It's usually pretty clear, honestly. Yeah, and then I go from there and bring it on in. Bring it on to Clip Studio and kind of, do what I do. I don't know why I'm so weird about that. I draw the art, the final art. That's what I do. I don't know why I was not using my pencils lines on these bubbles. That was weird. I mean, change the size of the big one, but I don't know. It's apparently just one of those nights. Yeah. Okay, so that bubble is good. Our speech bubbles are in. We'll continue inking the rest of this. Gonna knock that down. I really like, there's a G pen tool that I found in the Clip Studio Assets store that I've been a big fan of, which is what I really love to use for inking. Scorefly, what do you like to use for animation? Do you do it digitally? I mean, it seems like the easiest way to do animation these days is digitally. Like, do you have a program you prefer to use? Oh boy, it is just gonna be one of those nights, huh? I could probably bring those brush size down even a little bit for the size of the characters in this frame. But let's try it this way. It's pretty easy to knock it down later, if I so wish. feel like I must be tired this week or something like that. Alright, come on. And we'll knock that down a little bit. Nope, don't like that quite. Alright. Gonna close that down. Sorry, just cleaning up a little bit of stuff that's running in the background. Okay. Yeah, this hand. It's like I can mentally picture where I'm going for, but tonight my hand is not executing what I'm going for. We're gonna come back to you. That's what I think. Yeah, it is just feeling like one of those nights. So yeah, by the way, in case I hadn't reintroduced the concept of this comic from last week, this is about sundogs, and a sundog is actually it's a visual light phenomenon that you get. There's actually a really specific angle where it tends to happen. That's where you've got ice crystals in the sky, so you can have, you can have some sort of like cirriform cloud, like cirrostratus, or even just like where you can hardly tell that it's there. It's just there's the thin layer of ice crystals in the sky, and so you get these kind of periphery bright flashes and even a bit of a circle around the sun, kind of haloing it. You can also have a moon dog, by the way. Anyway, it's a really cool visual phenomenon. So the whole concept of the comic is like, maybe kids especially aren't familiar with the concept of what's a Sundog. So our main characters here, Chloe and Corey, are talking. Chloe's like, "Oh, Sundog, look." Corey doesn't understand. He's like, kind of envisioning a person walking the sun on a leash. And then Chloe points it out on the horizon, and he's so excited. And you got your the dog walking in, and then the dog just comes in. And we end on a sweet moment. Yeah, that's the concept. This ponytail. You'd think that I hadn't drawn like 9 or 10 comics with this character already, plus sample pages for a graphic novel. That's better. Goodness gracious. Okay. Now we'll get Corey in there. Okay, man. So I get like his hair in there, because this would actually come in front. Thanks, Ashley. I appreciate it. It's a yeah. Perhaps not the smoothest night I've had in this streaming endeavor. This is the Ashley, the writer of the team. Not just Ashley. Okay. Neck will come like that. Sleeve comes out there. Try to avoid that little tangent there. Okay, that's better. Okay. Look at me right. That's more words than you wrote in this comic. I kid. Nope. Sometimes when inking, I have those moments where I'm like, oh, I can draw that so much better than I drew it in the pencils. And I try to do something like significantly different. I'm like, nope, that's not right. Just stick with the pencils. Just stick with the pencils. Okay, that's pretty good. Gotta tidy up some of these little. Yeah. That's too much. Alright, bring down. Oh, we're pretty low now, so I'll bring down the brush size. Or keep it at this lower 7. Just to keep. Nope. Okay, there we go. I know that periodically Clip Studio saves recovery information and it'll freeze a little bit, but tonight I'm not taking any technical stuff for granted. It's just been, yeah, a bit rough. I was even just trying to go into Stream Manager for Twitch to get things started, and like my web browser was taking forever to load. Okay, there's you. Get these clouds in. Fix that tail. Yeah, you should come see this nice person in chat. She said I got this.
Do you think it's Spectrum?
I'm not sure. Something went wonky. I can tell you more later, but like when I exported the time lapse for, like, I booted on my computer, everything seemed fine with Clip Studio and opening it up, and then I exported the time lapse and quit out, and like when I went to just shut it down, things just got real slow. Like even just to click shut down, and I had to wait like 30 seconds for it to shut down. Just after exporting that one thing, like everything seemed fine up until that point, and then it just got weird. And then when I booted back up for stream, it was just everything was super delayed, super slow. So yeah, it's not a great feeling. That's pretty good. Alright, and I have resolved that I'm not gonna mess with a freehand circle. I'm just gonna draw the sun, you know, with the circle tool. No extra points for doing it the hard way. Oh, there's more cloud too, huh? Mm-hmm. It's like the same thing that happened last week, where I was like trying to overthink drawing the sun, and got real weird real fast. You know, it's one of those things, you sketch it, you draw it like 100 times, and then you gotta do it in your art, and you're like, oh, what am I doing again? What does this look like? Okay. Leave enough room for... yeah. Yeah, that's not quite what I was going for. Oh my goodness. Okay. I mean, you know. I've done this before. Why? Well, apparently everything is just going to take a real long time to do anything. Okay. So I was just thinking, like, I just did a comic pretty recently with the sun that I was relatively happy with. So why not go with that? Okay. Yeah, I just got way less hung up on it. That's all it was. Okay. Okay. Overthinking. Also, I do just in general like the idea of keeping some better consistency in terms of how I draw it. So, probably good to check it. Also, just remind myself, yeah, dude, you know how to draw this. Okay, right. So get that, erase that one. Although in this case, would it make sense to do it differently? This up a little bit. Nope. Yeah, I think that's okay. Now, I'm not going to do ink lines for the Sundog itself. I'm going to do that in its own layer. I've got a few tricks kind of up my sleeve for how I want to do that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's keep going. Just add in a couple little details here for sidewalk lines. Oop, that is, I'm still on the eraser tool. There. Okay. I feel like we're mostly back on track at this point. Mostly. This horizon line, though. Little wonky. Let's fix that. Actually, let's do it this way. So why I like using rulers instead of just using the line tool here is because I can get a straight line that still feels a bit organic because of pen pressure. And then if I stretch it out a little bit, you know, you can have a little bit of imperfection there. So it's not this super straight, stiff, mechanical feeling line. It's got a little bit of life to it. You know, an imperfect human imperfectly drew this imperfect line, and that's actually a good thing. That's what I'm going for. Let's try to. There we go. So I do like to try and avoid tangents where I can. I know I've talked about these a little bit before, or maybe a lot bit, but tangent lines are where lines or corners in your art kind of bump into each other. So something like this, right? You've got two different things, and this touches here exactly, instead of, like, you know, going behind it, or being away from it. And the reason they're not great is that they're unclear. They don't always read clearly, and they can give the reader a bit of trouble in terms of telling what the depth of things are, that sort of thing. So in general, we try to avoid them. Because no matter what your art ability or style or writing, clarity is king in comics. It needs to read clearly, or else it's not really, it doesn't really matter what else you do well, because if someone can't get a clear read on it pretty quickly, they're either going to lose interest, or what you're trying to do will more than likely be lost. What am I doing? My goodness. Just one of those days. I'm going to embrace it, is what I'm going to do. Because honestly, you don't have many other choices than that when you're having a challenging day. Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because I wouldn't even say that the day was challenging. Just more the part, usually what's like the easy, chill part of my day, coming here to stream, that got real complicated with all the technical issues. we're just gonna have a chill Geoff stream tonight. You know, the music's not working. It's gonna be a little weird and quiet, but honestly, we're here to do art, and we're doing art, and that's good. Oh, goodness gracious. It is. It is not coming easy tonight, folks. Well, that's alright. I'm relatively certain we all have these times. I do, at least. And, well, I probably won't push things super late tonight. I am gonna try to push through a little bit because we're making progress. All things considered, we're making progress. You may also notice I didn't draw any line art for the emoji shapes. And that is intentional because I don't do lines on them. I do them with the lasso tool style drawing. In case you're curious. I like that. I like that. So nothing's quite lining up. The plan is for this to not perfectly align, so I'm not gonna... Let's get a little more pen pressure variation in there. That's good. Of course, erase you out from there. Can turn off our guides. Whee! It's all good there. All right. Yeah, these are okay. So what I'm seeing is, like, I just talked about tangents, right? That one, okay, that one seems to pretty clearly go behind. But what I was seeing there in the speech bubbles, word bubbles, speech balloons, dialogue balloons, whatever you want to call them, they have many names. Was that it was kind of just doing the tangent thing where it was just touching up against Chloe's hair. And the dialogue, the word balloons, they're not, they're not tangible objects in the character world, clearly. But, they kind of they typically float in a space that is between whatever's happening in the panel and us, the reader. So I don't want that to be super unclear. So just want to tweak that a bit. I think that's better. Usually what happens after I finish art on stream here anyway is I'll sit down with Ashley, we'll take a look at it and be like, okay, well, this could use a tweak here, this could use this, like, oh, are we sure we want that to look that way? So, when I draw things on stream, I know, there might be a couple changes coming. I had one where I just drew the characters and, like, the face shapes, and it wasn't even like a style that I really worked in. I'd maybe been playing around with it in my sketchbook a little bit. But like I went to show Ashley, she's like, why do their faces look different? I'm like, huh. I was just, whoops, wrong style. It wasn't super different, just to be clear, but it was different enough that it felt weird for the characters. So that was fun. I learned something that day. You're a monster critic. No, she is not a monster critic. That's not true. But she does help me get, things are clear. Because when you draw things, like, you know what you meant. So your brain sometimes fills in the gaps. I'll spare everyone the cat pointing at the cat's butt example that I tell, like, every time. But, like, sometimes as the artist, you get so used to an idea that you don't realize that you didn't actually draw that thing completely, or that your drawing kind of, something's wonky. So having outside eyes tell you that can be both frustrating, but is also intensely useful. So not a monster critic, just a good set of eyes, that's for sure. Thanks, by the way, in case I hadn't said that recently. Anywho, I'm gonna keep drawing. And by keep drawing, I'm gonna shamelessly steal the sky that I drew here and adapt it over to the other panel. Oh, chatbot. Bless your heart, you tried. I'll go ahead and do that for you. For some reason, when the chatbot does the chat command as me, it doesn't trigger the thing. It's fascinating, really. But hey, let me tell you about Core Toons. If you're in chat, you see we've teamed up with some awesome fellow kids comics creators to create bite-sized comics for young ones with a sprinkle of educational content in each. You can sign up at coretoons.substack.com to get our weekly email. So that's what I'm working on. This is one of our Core Toons comics. I talked about this a bit earlier. If you're just joining us now, that's what's up. So this is an early reader comic, as I mentioned before, for like kindergarten through second grade age. Core Toons has been one of the best surprises of the year, in my mind. It's been just a really cool group to get to work with. Genuinely like and enjoy all of our collaborators. And it's been a really cool project, and I've gotten to try a lot of stuff that I probably wouldn't have otherwise. So that's been really, really nice. I did kind of like a papercraft-ish stream back maybe a month ago, which was super fun, working on a project that will be like a reward for referrals for Substack. And I always enjoy that kind of project. Like, what can I do? What can I make something do? What can I make the paper do? So that was a fun one. Actually, I'm mostly done with that project now. Didn't quite, well, it was a prototype that I did on stream, and I've actually now mostly gotten the, come on. Let's do this. There we are. Got the mostly final version put together. And it's even more. I was like, oh, it's just going to be these 2 or 3 little pages. And by the time, like, as a team, we all thought about it and added the stuff that we thought should be in there. And I kind of did it, like, as I was working on the stuff that we all talked about. I was like, oh, but what if I did this too? Wouldn't that be cool? And it just got to be like, I don't know, it was like 12 pages or something that I ended up putting together. No, that can't be right. Maybe 7 or 8. 7 or 8. It was more than I thought it would be, but it ended up being really fun and cool. To me. Anybody else is free to think what they like, but personally, me, I liked it. That's what I gotta say. That's gonna get just real complicated, so maybe I'm not gonna do that. And I'm gonna lean a little bit more on our good friend the ruler tool here, so that I feel comfortable drawing not through everything. There we go, that's good. Turn off that. I feel like I'm starting to get better at learning like what's the actual balance for using ruler tools, shape tools, stuff like that. I used to like originally I relied on them kind of religiously, like, oh, I got to get the shape just right. And then I got a really good critique from one of the not just a fellow artist, but like a teacher for the intensive in our kids comics group, Kids Comics Unite, and about like, oh, hey, sometimes doing that kind of thing can just take all the life out of your drawings, right? If every line is perfectly straight, etc., etc. So I was like, okay. So then I like avoided it like the plague, and now I feel like in terms of like producing things more, being able to produce things more quickly, as well as realizing like the repetition of things. I realized like, okay, there's some places where it's good to use it, where I find it convenient and helpful to use it, and there's some places where it's like, no, don't use it there, or you don't need to use it there, or it's gonna look too rigid if you use it there. So I feel like I'm coming around on it and starting to get a feel for it. Not always perfect, but getting there. Oh, you know what I see here is like that ground is super slanted in panel 1. Okay. Yeah. So I'll turn pencils back on here. And as I'm talking about using rulers, here I feel like it got so slanted that it was a distraction from the comic. And there's other ways to make things a little less perfect too. Like not closing the lines all the way, things like that, to still give it a little bit of that life. Yeah, you know what? And at this point, 2 is inconsistent, so I'm just gonna. Okay, turn off guide once again. For anybody who's watching, either, YouTube or VODs or watching live, if you feel like it, I'm curious, what's the feel like without any music in the background? I know I can kind of get into the art, and when I get into it, it doesn't really make a huge difference for me, although I prefer to work with stuff in the background. But is it different, like listening to it without. I am curious. Alright, what I will do now, is I'm going to start laying down some color. Probably not going to get all the way through it. It's 11:15 Eastern time. Clearly it's been a bit of a night. I'm super tired. So I might end up saving, finishing this up either like on stream next week or maybe even finishing it off stream. We'll see how I'm feeling, what my level of tough technical difficulties going on are. Hopefully I can resolve some of this stuff going on. And every now and then there's like just some big update for a software package that needs to download, and it's gonna do it in the background. And once it's done it and gotten set up, everything's great. Sometimes you have to run defrag or all sorts of other rather obnoxious stuff to figure out things and get everything operating smoothly again. So I'm gonna figure out which one. Oh, I never drew the rest of that hand, huh? Would you look at that? Oh, Garfield, you're such a lazy kitty. It's like this random line from Penny Arcade that I read like years and years ago, and it still just cracks me up. It's like one character is just like reading the paper while something horrible happens to the other character. Like, instead of like taking note or doing anything, he's just like, "Oh, Garfield, you're such a lazy kitty." Yeah. What else do you say? Yep. Tidy up. You're supposed to be white. Oh, do I have anti-aliasing on? Yeah, I sure do. Okay. Not the worst, but trying to be a bit more consistent with it. Alright, go back to our fill bucket. Handy dandy. Start filling in Corey a little bit here. Tonight, I'm just feeling straight up fill bucket. The other nights I like to I'll sometimes come in and use some of the other kind of fancier, if you will, fill tools. But tonight, I just don't feel like messing around with it. Like, you know what? I need simple. I think that's something I kind of forget sometimes as an artist is like there's not always one right tool for a job, because the right tool also depends on like where you're at as the person operating that tool. You're gonna be difficult. So I'm just taking, this is Clip Studio's vector line editing tools. And this just lets me make adjustments to my lines after I've drawn them, which is real great. And lets me just touch up endpoints, make things a little bit cleaner where maybe I've gone a wee bit astray. And it's pretty spectacular. Excuse me. The ease of the integration with the vector tools is one of the things that I absolutely love about Clip Studio. Didn't draw on the lines on those shoes. Okay. You know, I haven't decided on a color for the dog yet. Hmm. Okay. Alright, you know what I do probably want to do? Well, okay. Okay, here's the plan. Get the sky filled in a little bit because it's gonna be important in a bit here. Just color in here as I will be coloring in the actual white background of this thought bubble itself. And why, yes, as a matter of fact, Clip Studio does have thought bubble tools. I've been hand drawing mine. At least for these ones that have these comics that I have the emoji dialogue in, simply because I like how they manage the. I prefer to manage those layers myself. For text entry, I used to be kind of skeptical, but I feel like the Clip Studio group at Kids Comics Unite, Clip Studio Cafe, have convinced me that they can be really solid for just standard text entry, and they do a good job of grouping everything together. But for stuff like this, I've had a little bit less luck with that, so I'm still a bit on the skeptical side. And for the emoji, I'm just gonna manually color in the white background of those speech bubbles and have all the layers for the emoji. And that's actually why I filled all these in now, is I'm getting ready to draw in those. Okay. I need to use the bathroom. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw it to be right back. It's going to be kind of a weird, eerie be right back because there's just not going to be any sound, but that's okay. We're working with what we got tonight, and tonight is a technical difficulties kind of night. So I will be right back, and we'll at least get these emoji bubbles finished out. That's what I think we're going for. All right, back in a few. Okay, we're back. We're back from our weirdly silent be right back break. I would acronym that all out, but I'm tired, so you know what? It's all good. Okay, so yeah, I'm only gonna push through a little bit more tonight. Feels like one of those nights where it may not be a huge help. Wagging, I'm also back from my weirdly totally not motion and lotion lurking thing. There is nothing wrong with you. There is not a thing, Janos. Don't you worry. If anybody doesn't know, this came from another night where I was streaming and I was super tired. And I said, quoted Newton's, was the second law? No, is that the first law of motion? Because, like, objects in motion tend to stay in lotion. And it was good times. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. That's a lie. And denial that something is wrong is a step back from growth. I don't know. I mean, I don't think anything. You just have a sense of humor and are outgoing and emotive in chat. That doesn't seem like anything wrong to me. Not to me. Yeah. Oh, well, you know, Geoff. It might have been good to draw the other part of that first, but I'm just gonna do it this way. I'm just gonna do it this way. Yeah, that's pretty good. Didn't have a great orange picked out. That's okay. That'll work. Eat. I can clean that up a little bit. There's always something wrong, but thinking that it's wrong and not accepting the problem for what it is and accepting it's natural and good is only going to make it worse. And I can get really in depth as this is another subject I'm very passionate about. But for our sakes, I'm going to do the did that hasn't done so far. This did, do, didn't. I'm amazed that I read that without my brain just kind of freezing for a second. Unless it did, and it's now like 2 hours later. In which case, hi everyone. I hope you enjoyed me staring blankly into space for that time. When I tell people me not having friends is a choice, this is exactly why they don't believe me. I don't know, like, I believe it personally, if in fact, but like, I don't know. I also have a hard time believing you don't have friends. But that's just me. You come here on Thursday nights, we chat, we have a good time. We talk about life stuff. It all seems pretty good, right? Like, that's my take. But you don't have to take my word for it. I mean, factually speaking, I genuinely keep to myself, and despite my extremely outgoing social personality, I'm most comfortable by myself, which is why I don't engage in social interactions intentionally or outside of work. I mean, that's fair, right? Like, that is totally your call. This world is made up of a mix of introverts and extroverts, and not everybody's looking for everything to be a social interaction. I mean, I think there's some level of human need for connection, but I don't think it's necessarily meaning that every person is like feeling like they need to engage everybody in conversation all the time. It's genuinely for lack of trying, because I've been invited and offered to social gatherings and hangouts and numbers, etc., but I actively turn them down almost every time, unless it happens to involve a subject I'm extremely passionate about. Just rambling now. It's fun. Never let me have a coffee at 2 p.m. ever again. See, that's really funny to me, because, like, I had coffee before stream, and I could probably fall asleep right now. Oh my gosh, it's like sprayed everywhere. I could probably fall asleep like right now. Maybe that's just called being a parent. I'm not sure. But like, I absolutely could have coffee at just about any time of day and go straight to sleep. It helps me to have coffee in the mornings. Absolutely, but it does not harm me to have coffee late in the day. It seems weird, but you know. Everybody's different. It seems like a way gigantic, gross oversimplification. It's not weird at all, in fact. Wait, the coffee thing? What are we talking about? Who am I? What day is it? Where are we going? We going to the zoo? Okay. You know what? I am not gonna fret over this emoji sun. I'm just gonna say it's good. It's at a good place. And when I merge this down, my type title will go away and I'll have to do it again. All right. You're gonna stop now because despite it being a topic you enjoy, you don't enjoy it enough to rant. Also, yes, the coffee thing. Read above the previous comment for contrast. Yeah. Yeah. It's like I don't even know. That's not even a helpful simplification. Context. Oh yes, it does say context and not contrast. Yes, you're correct. You, sir, are correct. Stay a while and listen. Okay, I think that's a good doggy. What am I doing? Who knows? Do I know? Do you know? Okay, we're a little bit asymmetric there. That's mostly okay. This color though. Oh, this is anti-alias too, isn't it? It is. Blast. All right. Let's try this again. And then draw the little puppy ears. Do I have this on add to selection? Yeah, I do. Cool. And the bot tries again. In context. Waggy, I'm no longer sure I'm the one who requires a mental checkup. Also, my autocorrect keeps changing Waggy to Waggle, and I now just want to call you Waggle. It's so much more entertaining. You know what? It's on the list of nicknames I have held in my life, and it doesn't bother me. I'm pretty flexible on what people call me as long as it's kind. Fun fact, I once spent an entire semester of high school algebra 2 as Greg. Because we had a sub. We had a sub while the teacher was out on maternity leave. And like some people have been known to do, the sub just kind of got to the first letter of my first name and was like, yeah, whatever, you're Greg. Hey, Greg. Waggy, listening to you read a cohesive normal sentence and somehow still slurring like you've been drinking implies you should really nap. I should really nap. It's been not a great stretch for sleep. I was doing really well for a while, on sleep, and then we had a couple of like a big stretch of weeks where, wait, what layer is this even on? That's on the pencils layer. That's not what I want. A big stretch of like sleep interruption nights. And then sleep has been just a wee bit short ever since. So I went from averaging like 7 to 7.5 hours a night to averaging like 6.5 in the last week. And I dare say it is showing. I know I told you about the study before. So apparently my cognitive abilities right now, if that is all true, my cognitive abilities are the same as if I just haven't slept for 48 hours. A coherent sentence should not sound like an AI generated Google translated mess coming from your mouth. I mean, yes, this is very true. I will not argue this. Okay, you know what? We've got some flat colors down. I finished the inks. This has been a technical nightmare of a night. I think I'm going to wrap it. Clearly, I am exhausted. I'm going to take your advice, Janos. Thank you. So let's hop back to just chatting for a second. I'll do that. Hey, here I am. Reminds me of one of my favorite lyrics ever made. I'm not as think as you drunk I am. Not a single drink to get to this point. Just good old-fashioned tired. That's it. Can you believe it? I can. So, yeah. You can too? Yeah. Well, this was kind of a cursed stream tonight, honestly. I'm not gonna lie. It's been, I got some stuff done. I had a good time. But definitely not my smoothest. Not my smoothest in what, like 9 months? 9 months I've been doing this. That's okay. I very much endorse the fact that we all need to give ourselves grace for things to not always go great. And I'm trying to embrace that. Like, it's something I want to teach, my kids. I think so. No, I mean, I didn't count it out. I'm just ballparking it. I started in July. Yeah. That was a weird face that I made just there while I squished. But anyway, yeah. July 3rd was my first stream ever. So, getting there. We got, May, June, July. That'll be, so this is 9 months. I will be having my stream anniversary in a short 3 months. I haven't actually missed a Thursday since then. I don't think so. Oh, so it's been a while since you were one of the first. So you are an OG. Absolutely. Yeah, this year I can't even believe the speed with which it's gone by. Like, things felt pretty chill. Like, I felt like we had a pretty good rhythm all the way up. Even like we did our big trip, and that was, threw things off, but it was good. And we got back and kind of hit a rhythm there for a month, and then the holidays hit, and just we hit January, and I feel like everybody everything like at my work, just the world around me just like slammed on the accelerator. I was like, all right, go. And it's been a bit busier. Yeah, it did feel like October yesterday. It's nuts. It's nuts. It's been like a really good busy time, but it's gone by so fast. And it's been like, I remember when I first started streaming, the first few, like 3 or 4 months at least, I was on a good schedule with uploading things to YouTube, I even did like, custom thumbnails and stuff for the YouTube videos. And now I think my YouTube, like I've current through like mid-December, and I uploaded the VODs, but I have to do thumbnails and descriptions, and a wee bit behind there. Yeah, which I mean, I've been leaning a lot on the highlighting my Twitch VODs just to have some archive up there if somebody really wants to watch. But yeah, it's just it's gone fast. Hopefully, we're coming up on summer. Things will kind of get back into a rhythm again. It feels like maybe we're coming up on it. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. But in the meantime, I'm enjoying the busy that we are. It's a good busy. I just have to be really mindful about managing things like sleep and intentional about where I spend my time and effort. It's not a great time to pick up new projects or hobbies. So, yeah, but it's good. Sleep. I've actually been using Pokemon Sleep. Sleep. It's a game by Pokemon. Yeah, it's a good one. No, it's a sleep monitoring app. So I've been using it and having like the kind of incentivized like bedtime helps, and being able to track the sleep and see and like quantifiably like, oh, and you're tired because you haven't been getting as much sleep as you should be. But also that like positive reward cycle when you see that you did do a good job, you're like, yay, look at me, those numbers are good. Snorlax is happy. Yeah. Clearly I'm a bit what's the word I'm looking for? Loopy. Loopy is the word I'm looking for right now. That's good. You're right. Yeah, you're right. It's time. It is time. Janos, thanks for stopping by. It's been good chatting with you. Even if I'm a bit exhausted. Thanks everybody for bearing with me with all these technical difficulties. But I feel like we still had a good time. We got some art done. We made progress. I will be back as at the usual time next week, Thursday, 10 o'clock p.m. I will get these technical issues figured out. So hopefully things should be in a lot better shape for all that next week. But also get the sleep issues figured out. That will be good too. So with that, I will wish you all a happy rest of your Thursday night. Have a good week. Take care of yourselves. And I will see you next Thursday night, he says as he loads up his stream ending scene. All right, there we go. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye.